Hey, hello everyone. How are you? I hope you're doing super well. Today we will talk about recovery because recovery is so important. You will never be better than how much you allow yourself to recover. I will say that again, like you will never be better than you allow yourself to recover to be because there is a limit of how much you can train, and at some point you will actually just get better by recovering. If you allow yourself to recover properly, then you will become a better athlete, a better kickboxer. That's why recovery is so important. That's why we're going to talk about it today. And it's been mentioned a couple of times in this podcast, actually by guests, that there is kind of a macho culture in the kickboxing, that it's much about training as much as possible, training every day. And that's not necessarily the best thing. Everyone is different. Everyone has different limits of how much they can do, how much they should do. It very much depends on how much they're used to do, what is their experience. Often we can go harder in shorter periods. So let's say we have 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks leading up to a world championships. We can allow ourselves to push our bodies really hard in this period. Not to say that recovery is not important. Recovery is super important also in these periods, but we can sometimes allow our bodies to push even harder than we normally do because there is a big event coming up, and then we will need extra rest after that event. So if we overtrain, it can lead to a lot of very serious injuries. And if we allow ourselves to recover, our athletic career can be much, much longer. We will not have these serious injuries. We will take care of ourselves, get our sleep, get our food. I will explain a lot more. I have 7 advice for you specifically about recovery. One is about what you do if you just had an injury. And this is the advice that your doctor will tell you if you called them. And then I have 6 more advice for you that is about the general recovery. So let's just get started. So let's start with the one that you can do if you just had an injury. So let's say you just twisted your ankle or something happened, you don't know, it's not too serious, you don't have to go to the hospital, but you need to recover this area. There is something called the RICE method. So RICE, the RICE method. So it means rest, put ice on it, then compress it. If it's swollen, you want to compress it and then elevate it. That is a method you can do when something happened to you. Use it, and definitely also call your doctor if it's something serious. Let's move on to the 6 things that you can do in your everyday life to recover better as an athlete, to become the best kickboxer you can be. The first advice is to do some active recovery. And with active recovery, I mean cool down. There can be some slow running or walking after your training session. In the end of the training, you want to spend 10-15 minutes on cooling your body down. It starts with doing some of the exercises you're doing or running or walking, but in a very lighter tempo than you already did. And then you can finish off with some stretches. The reason why you want to do this cool down session is because the lactic acid that builds up in your muscles will be released slowly, and that will minimize the soreness of the muscles compared to if you just stop immediately. If you go from the very hard intensive work and just stop, go home, the lactic acid will be released much faster. This is why you want to make sure it happens slowly, you get to cool down properly, and then you minimize the soreness in your muscles. This will improve your next day training if you have one. You will just have a better feeling in your body. This doesn't mean that you cannot get a soreness. Of course you can, but it will definitely improve it if you're going to have it. It will also make a good blood flow to your joints and muscles, and that will reduce the inflammation in your body. And if there's something athletes don't like, it's inflammation. It's like the most annoying. You don't want to stop your training immediately. You want to slowly cool down. And I mentioned the stretching because you want in these 10 to 15 minutes, and you want to make this a habit. In this 10 to 15 minutes, you want the stretching. And when you do the stretching, your body will naturally lengthen its muscles, and that will improve the circulation and blood flow as well. And we just talked about before, when the blood flow is improved, it will reduce the inflammation in your body. And also, when we do the stretches, it makes us more flexible, which is something any kickboxer can benefit from. I mean, we all want to be more flexible, right? We all want those head kicks. We don't want any pain when we kick. So we really want this flexibility. So that's just another plus. Yeah. The third advice, or the fourth, compared to how you count it, but it's the foam roller. The foam roller, you either hate it or you love it. I guess you've already tried it. It's also called a poor man's massage. It's that long, it's like, it's round, you roll on it, you know what it is. Sometimes it has some kind of peaks, thingies that makes it harder. And sometimes it's just like completely flat, which make it a little bit more soft. You want to use this. And the reason why you want to do it is, now it gets a little bit technical, but it's called a self-myofascial release technique. When you do the foam rolling, you do this technique. So the self-myofascial release technique. And it's because around your muscles, like all your muscles are surrounded by something that's called fascia. And that's the thing that you're massaging, this fascia. So when your fascia is too tight, your muscles have a difficulty by moving correctly, and that can lead you to injuries. So in your recovery, you want to use the foam roller in order to help your muscles and massage this that surrounds them. There's a lot of different types of foam rollers, so please do some investigation. Which one do you like? Which one do you prefer? You can read about like what is this specific foam roller doing, and it's not very expensive, so you can buy it and you can use it before your training, after your training. I sometimes do it in the morning. If I'm very sore, I will just do 10-15 minutes in the morning while I'm watching some Netflix or whatever. It's just a really great day to start your day. Or if I'm really, really sore, I will do it in the beginning of the training, because it's, how sometimes you can be so sore that you cannot even like touch your foot with your fingers, even though you can if you're normally very flexible, and then sometimes you're just so sore that you cannot even like do 50% of that stretch. Then I will start with the foam roller, just slowly warm up, because when you do the foam roller, you roll, so you're also active in the same time, because the foam roller is the one that's on the floor in the same place, and you are the one that's like rolling it, right? So you're the one that's moving, and that's why you get also the blood flow. So you get a little bit warm, and that is really nice. But the fifth advice is refueling. Refueling, you have to look at yourself as a machine. So let's say that you're a car. If you're a car and you go on a long drive, what do you have to do to keep it running? You need to put gas in the car. You need to refuel yourself. You're the machine. You have to be up and running. That's why when you empty the tank at a training, you want to refuel it with food. Make sure you get the carbohydrates, the protein, the vegetables, the fruits. Don't be super fixated on one thing. Do not leave any of them out. Do not think, no, I do not eat carbohydrates because it's unhealthy, or think that I eat 90% protein because it's much better. No, you need carbohydrates, protein, vegetables. Make sure that you get that. And I'm not a nutritionist, so I will not get super deep, but I do know that food is what's keeping us alive, and it will definitely improve your training, your recovery, if you start refueling yourself properly. So you'll probably feel better if you start eating a good meal after training than drinking a soda or eating chocolate or something, if that's something you're doing. Not to judge you, but I'm just saying, you probably will. I mean, you can try it. This is something that I really love. I love to use myself as an experiment, because it's like if someone says it's unhealthy to smoke, okay, but if I never tried it, I cannot say like it's not good for me, I don't want it. So I'm not saying you should smoke at all, but I'm just saying, like, I also went vegan at some point, and it was the same. Like, okay, maybe it makes me feel better, maybe it doesn't, but I cannot say it will not if I don't try it, and maybe it will actually work a lot better. So I constantly do these kind of experiments with my body. I see how much can I push it, where is the limit, what makes me feel better, what is too much, what is too little. I also once made a sleep experiment where I tried to sleep, I think 4 or 6 hours a night, and then I would have 2 naps during the day, and that just drained me. But if it worked for me, I would have been super efficient because I could, sleep at different times, go to bed later, wake up earlier. So I would like that to work, but it didn't work for me. But I'm just saying, do these experiments for yourself and see where you can improve yourself. Okay. That was like what's it called? Side string? I don't know. That's a very Danish word. That was something I didn't plan to say, but that's an advice from me to you. Okay. Then there is the 6th advice. And this is the yoga/meditation. And I know it's something that everyone says. And they say that for a reason. And I know you might think, oh my God, I do not want to do meditation. It's so boring. Oh. And I said that as well. But now I've seen and I've felt the benefits of sitting down just 2 minutes, 5 minutes every day, just focus on this very moment. And it took me a lot of convincing as well. I think I heard 1,000 people recommend me doing meditation before I actually wanted to do it, because it just looks so boring. But when I allowed myself to just sit down, do it, and do it in a longer period so that I could actually feel the benefits, it was amazing. It helped me in my training. It was super, super helpful, especially for the mental part. It keeps the stress away. It allows me to sleep well. And I just have like a healthy well-being. And it's like, just to be very specific of how this helped me in the training, I will say that when I sit down for 2 to 5 minutes and these thoughts come into my head, like these thoughts come into my head all day long. So when I'm at the training, they also come into my head. I can be literally in the gym and I can think, oh, damn it, did I forget to buy this? Or about a conversation I had with a friend the other day or something. But it does not matter. I cannot use that in my kickboxing, so it shouldn't be something I'm thinking about in the kickboxing. So when I start my day by sitting down and just allow 2-5 minutes to sit, and when a thought comes into my head, it's okay, it can be there, but then it moves on again. So let's say I tell myself that I'm not good enough. I allow that thought to be there without judging it. So because the thought is saying I'm not good enough, I don't think I'm not good enough. I'm just thinking this is a thought, okay, and then I let it go. And when you learn to let these thoughts go and not recognize them as feelings, as truth, then you can go to a whole new level. Because that means when you're in a kickboxing training and something pops into your head, which could very well be if you had like 10 failed attempts of trying something new, and I would say if you failed 10 times at trying something new, you're still doing very, very great, because not many people will do something very good after trying it only 10 times. But this is just a scenario. And you say to yourself that I'm not good enough, or this thought pop into your head. And if you can be able to let that go and do it 10 times more, then you will, like with the right mindset that you are good enough, that you can do this, you just need to practice it, then you can go to a whole new level. So that's how meditation really, really helped me, and how I think it can help you. But if you don't want to do the meditation, even the yoga or just a walk to clear your mind can also be really, really good. So try that for your recovery. Then there, of course, is the rest, like complete rest. Sleep 8 hours a night. There was actually a study done with basketball players that they slept already 8 hours a night, but they went to sleep 9 hours. And their shooting efficiency improved by 9%, their sprinting improved, and their mental health improved. Also, tennis players who just slept 8 hours a night, tennis player that just slept 8 hours a night consistently would improve their shooting accuracy with 59%, 53%, which is amazing. Just by sleeping, you will improve. And by not sleeping, you will decrease your abilities. You will not be able to do the same thing in the same tempo, the same amount of times. So sleep plays a huge role here. Sleep plays a huge role here. And when we talk about rest, we also talk about taking some time off sometimes. Everyone needs that. No one will judge you. Everyone needs a break. Make sure to rest, make sure to feel good. Hang out with some friends, do something. It's actually called healthy distractions. You want to find out what your healthy distractions are. Things that you can do, people you can surround yourself with when you just had enough. And there is a difference between these people, because these people are not the people, if you say on a Monday evening that you don't want to go to training, and they say, well, then stay home and let's, I don't know, play some PS5 or whatever. That's not a good friend. You want the friends who will push you to the trainings when you don't want to, but also recognize that when you're just unmotivated, burned out, and had enough, they will tell you, okay, you know what? You need to stay home. You will just relax, chill, play some PS5, and then you will recover and everything will be good. You can go back to training. This is a healthy distraction. People who recognizes this, or just things that you can do when you are in this situation. Okay, this was enough about the recovery. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you can use some of it. Maybe you learned something new. You should definitely, if you learn something new, what you should do, and you should do that right now, is to go to my Instagram. It's called Camila_kickboxer. Send me a message and say, hey, I really like this part because I learned this. Or you can even say, hey, I experimented with this and it didn't work for me. Or can you help me to improve this? Anything, I will help you. Yeah, go find me on Instagram. I really, really love to connect with you guys. It is primarily Instagram. I'm also on TikTok now. It's a lot of fun. And I'm also on YouTube. But primarily, I connect with you guys on Instagram. And I love that because the messages, the feedback, the questions you have, I just really love to connect with you. So feel free to find me, or actually go and find me right now. Go hit follow because you want to know when these episodes are being uploaded. They are once a week. You want to know what they're about. If there's something you're interested in, you want to know who the guests are. Guys, I have amazing guests on this podcast. I will actually interview Shauna Bannon. In 2 weeks, she has a fight now, and then I will interview. I had Bailey Murphy on the podcast, Elijah Everville, Evelyn Noyens, John Mackey, the coach from Ireland. Amazing, amazing people, guys. So you want to follow this podcast to hear more. And these episodes I just talked about are already uploaded, so you can just go and find them. Okay, thank you so much. I will see you. Bye-bye.